Jeremiah not to marry and have children, right? So we're going to talk about prophets' wives and why things happened to a lot of the prophets' wives, right? So we're going to talk about Ezekiel 24. The prophet's wife dies. Also the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, behold, I take away from you the desires of your eyes with one stroke. Yet you shall neither mourn nor weep, nor shall you tears run down. Sigh in silence. Make no mourning for the dead. Bind your turban on your head, and put your sandals on your feet. Do not cover your lips, and do not eat man's bread of sorrow. Right? So I spoke to the people in the morning, and at evening my wife died. The next morning I did as I was commanded. And the people said to me, Will you not tell us what these things signify to us, that you behave so? So if we were there, we wouldn't understand it. And God, it doesn't really say exactly what's going on, but this were customs to Jewish Hebrew traditions, right? When they would have a mourning, they would take the turbans off. They would cover their mouth. They would eat only a bread of sorrow, and they would take their sandals and walk barefooted. So God said, I'm taking your wife, right? So it started with Jeremiah, right? He tells Jeremiah, don't marry, don't have children. And in Ezekiel, he says, I'm taking your wife. Well, first, let's look at it spiritually, because the first thing Jeremiah, God showed him was a spiritual sight. Not that he was blind, he was made sure he was seeing exactly what God was showing him spiritually. So we're talking about spiritual things, right? So when we think about Ezekiel's wife, God killing her, it's not that bad of a thing, because she's gonna walk with God. Right, so we think of death as a judgment all the time, but this wasn't judgment. This was actually a sign of judgment that was coming to the people. But her life was in her and toward God. It was a blessing. She's gonna be with the King, right? She's gonna be with the King, right? She's gonna have eternal life. He didn't just kill her, right? And killing is God's judgment. It's different between murder and killing. That's another study. It says, thou shalt not murder in the Ten Commandments. Not that, it doesn't say thou shalt not kill. Killing is God's judgment. Murder is when we think we're God. So it's thou shalt not murder. So this is God taking her life as a sign to the people, using his prophet, taking his wife to show him and everyone else what he is feeling when we worship other gods, right? Gomer, he tells Gomer, the prophet Gomer, to marry a harlot, right? Why? He wanted to show the people what we are doing to him. We are his bride. We're his church, but yet we worship other gods, right? So here we go. I was watching this movie before I was a believer, and I never understood. I mean, it's a demonic